Good morning, everybody. It's Lisa Copeland. I am back home, a little bit hoarse, but glad to be back home in my studio to welcome all my friends again on my 6:45 Central, 7:45 a.m. show, 15 minutes of fierce. And oh, you guys are starting to jump on. That is so awesome. Michelle and Laura and Tiffany and Melissa, good morning. How are you? Oh my gosh, Mabel and Sandy and Lindsay, oh, and Paul and Trendy and Craig. What a week it has been. Oh my goodness. First of all, NADA is in the record books, and for those of you who are not in the automotive industry, you will know that you may or may not know, but NADA is the National Automobile Dealers Association, but it's a global event. Good morning, Ken, Natalie, Dina, Melissa. I'm so glad to see all of you on here. It was a little sketchy trying to bring this show on the road. For any of you who've stayed in San Francisco, I mean, the hotel rooms are like post-it stamps. I mean, seriously, they are so small. And so it was so crazy busy. I couldn't even, good morning, John. And I already said hi to Mabel, Dina. And they're so small, there was no way to be able to do it out of my room. Like I tried to move the computer and the camera in every different angle, and heck, I just gave up on it. I just gave up on it. And yes, I am a little bit under the weather, but I'm great. I think it's just from just running and running and running. Anthony and Zelinda, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing it, Ken. Melissa, God, I wish I could have bumped into you. I tried 3 different times. It's unbelievable. So I started out, first of all, can we just talk about the state of San Francisco? It just breaks my heart. It's a hot mess out there. The homeless situation, I don't know. If I was a leader out there, I would be doing things a lot differently. So for those of you who don't know, I mean, it's kind of my hometown. I grew up out in the Bay Area, and San Francisco's always been my happy place to go to when I just want to get away or just want to, I don't know, feel connected again. I don't know that I'll go to San Francisco again, not for a while, not until they get it under control. It was just completely just dirty, and the streets are dirty. It's just, I don't know. I can't even tell you. I was just there a year ago, and I was telling my husband last night, it's so much worse than it was a year ago. So anyway, so there's that. But started the first day out there on Wednesday, going to Mountain View, to Google headquarters, which was absolutely unbelievable. I've been to Google before, so to Mountain View, so that wasn't but just the information that we got. The Google Automotive team just showed us where the industry is and where it's going. And let me give all you marketers a piece out there, whether you're in the car business or not. They showed us graphs and they showed us what's going on in the industry. If you as a marketer don't have a YouTube channel and are broadcasting on YouTube, you're missing something huge. Absolutely huge, to the point where we're hiring a film crew this week for me to start the Cars Her Way YouTube channel. You know, I told you guys I've got the TV stuff coming out, but it's going to be just as important that we have a YouTube presence for what we're doing in the automotive space. And, you know, and Google came out with that, and it was an independent study. And I'll tell you guys and gals, get on YouTube, because that is where everybody's going to find their information. Television's down. It is so down, it's not even funny. So unless it's a show that people, you know, are looking for on television, they're going to YouTube to watch it. Facebook, I'll probably get throttled on this show for saying that. And again, I know when you're at Google, when they're talking about YouTube, it's pretty self-serving, but the numbers don't lie, and all these studies were done independently. And so that is your number one way to build your brand, to build your authority. You know, all of you out there are experts. You're experts in something, but it is a great way to build your authority and the authority of your brand. You know, because if people want to know about things, they're going to YouTube. I mean, here's a stat they threw out, which I thought was just crazy. So YouTube does test drives now for cars, and people are doing a lot of test drives. 60% of the YouTube test drives convert to either a showroom visit or a website visit of a dealer. That's unheard of. So take that to what your business is, because remember, the big thing that people on YouTube are Googling is how to, what about, tell me about, what is, okay? So, the rest of these social media platforms, I don't care what anybody tells you, you need them. I mean, like, you kind of need to be everywhere. But if you're not on YouTube, you're missing business. And the numbers were staggering. Another thing that the Google execs shared with us, God, I got to have some coffee. Maybe my voice will loosen up. The YouTube's execs, so they have lots and lots of companies in Google that they invest in, right? And and one of them is a new healthcare technology. And it's a watch that you wear. And this really interesting guy, I can't think of his name right now, but he came on and he spoke to us about it. And he said, hey, all of us go to the doctor once a year and we get a checkup and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he said, but, that's kind of like a snapshot of that moment in time. So they've invested in this healthcare company that actually pricks your wrist and you don't even feel it multiple times a day. It takes just a little bit of blood and it's analyzing your blood and seeing what you need, and maybe you're short on iron or you're short on calcium or whatever it may be. And then at the end of the day, it like prints out a report. They think with this watch, that people can live to be 100. Then they're investing in another technology company to have people live to be 1,000. Yes, Frank Creditti, you need a YouTube. I'm shocked you don't have one, my friend. You'll go from 100 to 200 cars like that. So let's see, what does Ken say? You do. It'll help get your numbers up. Oh yeah. YouTube is everything, y'all. And like I said, the Google team is amazing, and they're working with me really closely on a project. So I've known these guys and gals for quite a while, and they are just amazing at Google. They call themselves Googlers. It's so cute. And that Googlers are allowed to take 20% of their time that's paid for by Google and help an entrepreneur. So anyways, I'm working on that with them. So I think they're fantastic. I think they're ahead of the curve. I think they're amazing. And so YouTube is my biggest takeaway for all of my fierce tribe. And, and it needs to be, and it doesn't just need to be like, you're sitting there talking to yourself. Like a lot of these Facebook Lives, I'm like, what are you talking about? People just get on and they just kind of babble. So, it really needs to be subject matter expert stuff. So I'll give you an example of what we're going to do. Because I couldn't, luckily I was at YouTube, listen to me. I was at Google on Wednesday and I literally wrote an entire content calendar for 12 months of what we would be doing. So I'm going to be doing test drives for my brand Cars Her Way, but it's really the test drive of these cars from my perspective as the automotive expert, people who follow my brand. And so I'm going to do some of the unusual cars first. And so I'm going to I've got every dealer in town's a friend of mine. And so I'm going to go pull their cars. I'm bringing a film crew and we're going to do GoPros and then of course have them edited. So, YouTube isn't just a place to go throw up sometimes like we do on Facebook Live. You've really got to have a thought out plan. You have to have it edited. It needs to be good content. But if you create good content and if you create content that people are looking for, expert subject matter expert content like Frank. Come on. Everybody wants to know how to buy a car from from one of the greatest car salesmen in the world. You have a perfect channel. Let's see what else did I get an idea. I got to see so many of my friends and so many of you out there and meet you for the first time and hug your necks and have breakfast with you. And that was just so much fun. It was absolutely amazing just being able to hang out and just, brainstorm with everybody. I had people texting me going, well, can we come to NADA if we're not in the auto industry? I would say yes. You just have to buy a ticket, and the tickets are between $600 and $1,000 a piece. I don't know how interesting you would find it if you're not in the auto industry, but technology is on the move. And that was a huge takeaway for me is that, things are not the same. Things are moving at a rapid pace. I met a group and from Holland, and then I ended up getting an invitation the next day to speak in Germany on June 13th at a World Automotive Summit to talk about women and car buying. So of course I accepted that. So that was a big win for me. I had lunch with this was cute. So you guys see Chris Martinez on here all the time. He's a very dear friend of mine. He lives here in Austin, Texas. So I had lunch with him and the group from Cardone Enterprises or Industries. I'm not sure what they call themselves. Anyways, it was like a bunch of 10X black vipers jumped out of a black Escalade when they pulled up for lunch. And that was a great meeting. But it was just fun because I'm like, okay, Chris, you and I live in the same town, but we have to eat lunch together in San Francisco. But anyways, had a great meeting with the group from Cardone and, on some projects that they want to work mutually on for the automotive industry. So that was fun. That was exciting. The next day I went to the booth and Grant happened to be there, which I didn't know. I was going by to see Chris, and Grant pulled me aside and we had quite the conversation. And for those of you who follow Cardone out there, I've known him for years. And it was funny. I'm like, I said, Grant, I want to congratulate you on your success. It's amazing to see what you've done in the last 5 years. And the thing he said to me was, he said, I know. And he goes, and I know that you knew me back when. And I said, I knew you when you came into my dealership and you called on me, and you probably flew in on Delta on air miles. And now you have your own, G550. And he kind of told me what happened over the last 5 years. Hey, Scott Simons, how are you? It was so good to see you. And he told me, he had kind of pulled me aside and, he had told me about the last 5 years. And I said, what are your regrets? What would you have done differently? He said, I would have started sooner. And I said, well, Grant, the thing I've always said about you to people when they ask me if I know you is that there's nobody that can outwork you. He works smart. They invited me to 10X at lunch to come to the VIP section, but it's my grandson's birthday, so I always say family first. But it was good. It was a great conversation I had with the 10X team, and anyways, it's always about having conversations, right? It's about you guys saw the show. You saw our show where Shaka Dyson jumped in. Where is Shaka Dyson? No, Ken, I cannot come to 10X. It's my grandson's birthday. And for me, it's always family first. My little Cammie's turning 2 years old, and there's nothing more important than him. And they were going to stick me right up by the stage, but nope. Anyways, but Shaka Dyson says, in our silly video we made that morning, is that your network is your net worth. And this is our network, y'all. The people that are on the show right now. We're all networked. Hey, I already said hi to Scott Simons. Hey, Janelle, how are you? Sandra, good morning. It was fun hanging out with your brother, as always. So who is your network? Who are you gonna travel halfway across the country to go have meetings with? I had so many. Frank, I'll take your ticket. Well, Frank, I will find out if it's still available. Chris kept texting me. I can't believe Chris is not on here this morning, although I think he's heading home from San Francisco. But it was very nice of them to invite me. Absolutely. And if it wasn't for that, I would go. But this is your network. You guys hear me talking about this. Big Sellers is your network. It is all about, talking to people, meeting people, seeing how and it isn't about what people can do for you. I'll tell you guys, I was as shocked as anybody. I thought I was just having lunch with Chris Martinez in San Francisco. And out jumps the 10X Phantoms, like all the leaders from in the Cardone organization. Grant was not there, but all of his leaders were, and talking about a project that they want to work with me on, and they wanted to meet me, and because Chris had told them all this stuff about me, and so that's all network, right? That's all network. I didn't ask Chris to do that, but Chris is working with them. They have an exclusive licensing agreement with Chris's product, Auto Miner. And so what did Chris think of? Okay, well, I think that Lisa's got this new product out. It's in the automotive space. And so I think that they need to work with Lisa. So nobody was more surprised than me when 10, there's like 5, I think it was 5 or 6 10X jackets jump out. And we had a very productive meeting. So what is it? Who is it that you need to meet? Where are you going to go? Are you going to talk to the people in the group? And I'll tell you a little story about Chris Martinez before we jump off. Chris was running the Toyota store right down the street from me, from my dealership, and I did not know Chris Martinez. I did not know Chris Martinez. I knew who he was, of course, because Charles Montoyota is the 300-pound gorilla in my town. Just a awesome dealer, sells 1,000 cars a month. They are totally the 300-pound gorilla. And but we didn't know each other. And I started watching Chris Martinez on Facebook. I started watching his show and I thought, God, that guy is really sharp. So I invited him to my show, and I invited him to be on my show. This was, well, I don't know, probably 6 months ago. And then the next day he ordered a bunch of my books for his team. And so I called him and I'm like, hey, like you and I should know each other. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we're in the same town. Thank you. You're such a good supporter of mine. I appreciate you. Let's have lunch. We had lunch, and then I told him what I was doing in the automotive space. By noon that day, he said that he had spoken to his boss and that they want to do business with me and come on down. And Chris and I have been the best of friends ever since. Right. But then, fast forward to San Francisco, and so that's what friends do, right? I mean, when they see an opportunity, they invite their friends to get involved, and that's what Chris did. But that's a prime example of social media, of somebody who worked down the street from me. We should have known each other, except I think both of us had our heads down. Him selling 1,000 cars a month, me just trying to sell 150 a month. And we were working, and so we didn't get to know each other until we met on social media. Your network is your net worth, people. Who is out there? And there's so many amazing people out there. And Shaka Dyson, I just wanted to be like Shaka Khan the whole time, that I saw him. I love that guy. I didn't even get to talk to him at the Hustle and Grind conference, but when I met him in person, it was like two long lost best friends. Adam Marburger, he's not on here right now, but got to meet and hang out with him in person. I got to see my good friend Becky Chernick. I mean, I don't even dare start listing people, because a bunch of my friends from FCA dealers that I was on the National Dealer Council with, I got to hang out with them. They were all texting me, Lisa's in town, let's go drink, let's go have fun. Anyways, it was unbelievable. Sometimes you just got to show up. You got to get on that airplane. You got to show up. You got to go see who's out there. All right, so our 15 minutes is up. I'm going to talk more about Google tomorrow. I was there all day. I've got so many slides. I'm seeing who I'm missing on here. I think I already said hi to Mabel. I know I said hi to Sandra. Anyways, all good. Anthony, good morning, my friend. You've got to show up. You've got to show up, whether it's on social media or if it's at the conferences or the conventions, or maybe hold your own convention. I got to see my good friend Matt Koenig, and I'm very excited. Me and all the girls are going out to speak at the Rockstar event. Anyways, it was unbelievable. I'm tired, y'all. I will not lie. Lily Sosa, good morning. Lily's daughter, Amber, was my top salesperson back in the day, and just as fierce as her mother is. That is for sure. Two of the best saleswomen probably in the history of the planet. Anyways, I am leaving Wednesday, but I will have the show here on Wednesday, because I don't think I fly out till noon. I go Wednesday to Orlando, and I'm speaking for a women's conference for a software developer. So I'm excited about that. Just more connections, right? And so I just want to tell you guys and gals, you've got to connect, and it's got to be more than just social media. Social media, I think, is a really good start. Like I said, I wouldn't know a lot of people. I wouldn't know Ken Walls or Anthony or Frank. I'm just looking at ones that are here right now, or Chris Martinez, who lives here in my hometown. I wouldn't know any of you guys if it wasn't for social media. But then you still got to go deeper. You still got to show up. You got to go find where the people are. I wanted to do a fierce conference. I don't have the bandwidth, to be honest with you guys right now. There's no way. But I mean, just if everybody just said, hey, let's get on an airplane and meet here. For me, it's got to be like April or May. But anyways, whatever it takes to get together, right? To get FaceTime with people. So I just want to encourage you and leave you with that today. I've gone over my 15 minutes, but I will tell you, San Francisco is in the record books. I'm so excited. I'm excited Wednesday to go to Orlando and meet a whole new group of women. There's thousands of them. They bought a bunch of my books that are not in my industry. But they want to be more fierce. And so that's why I'm going, and that's why they've hired me to speak. So face-to-face, people, get into big sellers, share this out, invite your friends to big sellers, and then use your network. Just like my friend Shaka Dyson says, your network is your net worth. Build your net worth in 2019, and I will see you guys tomorrow with more wisdom from Google. And I'm telling you, Google is where it's at, and YouTube is where you need to be. Okay, bye guys.